So one of the laws of capitalist motion and development is this inexorable expansion. And that means expansion into an expropriation of the third world, a process that's been going on for about 400 years, perpetrated by the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the Dutch, the Belgians, the French, the English, and most recently, most successfully, most impressively, by the Americans. That is by the ruling classes of these countries, not by the ordinary people. The ordinary people simply paid the costs of empire. The ordinary people simply sent their sons off to die on the plains of India or in the jungles of the Congo or in Latin America, wherever else. But that expropriation of the third world has been going on for 400 years, brings us to another revelation, namely that the third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Most countries are rich. The Philippines are rich. Brazil is rich. Mexico is rich. Chile is rich. Only the people are poor. But there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. There's been billions for 400 years. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the flax, the hemp, the cocoa, the rum, the tin, the copper, the iron, the rubber, the bauxite, the slaves, and the cheap labor. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped, they're overexploited.
Welcome to RBN, everybody. That was some great words, Mike. Words that ring true to this day. These countries are not poor. If they were poor, we wouldn't find a reason to go over there and overthrow their governments and whatnot. Take their resources, rape their children and women. Yes, we do it all. But even their man, yes, it's all recorded. But welcome to RBN. Today is it's a day of conspiracy because I do love a good conspiracy theory. You know, 9/11 was an inside job. You know, the Pentagon was blah blah. I love a good conspiracy, right? But see, the thing is, a lot of people who have their blinders on to capitalism, they figure, oh well, all these train derailments and all this stuff, it has to be a conspiracy. They are attacking us. They are targeting certain communities. They're trying to poison us. I mean, you're right, but you're wrong. Like, they are poisoning our water supplies. They are, targeting us, surveillance, everything. Yes, you're right about that. But these train derailments isn't what you think it is. I'm gonna share my screen with this with you guys. And we're gonna go over, the infrastructure of America. Like, if you was to look at our infrastructure of report card, the report card of America's infrastructure is horrible. We have one of the most horrible infrastructures report cards on the earth. But see, this is just what happens when you privatize everything, when everything is for sale. This is what happens when there's no regulations on CEOs, on bosses, on people who got power and control. So let me share my screen really quick, you guys. Let me know if there's any problems. We're going to be talking about the train derailments and a couple of things that's going down that a lot of people didn't even know that happened in the last year or two. So hold on, let me get this. Ohio train derailment. And you see, like, let's watch this video real quick. Hey, baby.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a show.
What a privilege!
No. Okay, I guess it's a fucking ad.
It is for you.
But this is
here this evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, Roseanne Barr. She really got a freaking
Let's
show.
bring in Kelly Azadik, an East Palestine resident. She lives.
Hold on, you guys. Why is it not working? What the fuck?
About 2 miles from the site of the train wreck. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on. I
Dude,
appreciate
they
it.
is after
It
me.
seems
This
to
is a
me
conspiracy.
and Health and
Now
Human
this is a
Services and all the
conspiracy.
other agencies are saying.
Hold on, let me see if I can get somebody. Yeah, can
Kelly,
you
do you
pull that
feel like you're getting
can you pull
everything
that
you
video
need from
up
the
for me? Let me stop sharing that screen real quick. Let me see if I can get to these dams. Why is my sound isn't working? That is crazy.
Turn it up.
It is up. Well, anyways, I'm going to just show you guys this video of what's going on in certain parts of America that has happened in the last year or two. A lot of people don't know. Like, we have had train derailments damn near every week. We have had dams collapse. We have had dams collapse and destroy. You know what I'm saying? Syllabus, entire communities. 1 second. I guess I got to narrate because this isn't working. So let me get this together for you guys.
about getting this.
So as you can see, we are in Michigan. This is Michigan.
The long-term effects on this.
On the eastern banks of the Tittabawassee River, about a mile north of the town, sits, or astrophically, the influx of water forced residents in Edenville and Sanford
This
to
is the
evacuate
result
as water headed
of
downstream to
privatization.
the Sanford
But this is the
10
result of
miles
capitalism.
away. One
this
lucky
isn't a
resident was there to
conspiracy.
film the moment when the
Your
dam
infrastructure
initially
just
broke.
sucks. This is what happens when you have no regulations, when a CEO also write the laws.
Hopefully clean up.
This is in Michigan, not a third world country. Well, it is a third world. This is in Michigan, not Afghanistan, not Iraq, not any of that.
There we go. There's the road.
To the Corrego division.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana
This
from
isn't
Streamer.
a conspiracy.
So
People
excited.
are after you guys. Yes, you are right about that. But capitalism just sucks. And I hate it for the people who be like, oh, the Matrix and this and that. They got all kind of names for capitalism, but for some reason they won't call out capitalism for what it is. It sucks. And I had starred a comment on here. Let me turn this phone down 1 second. Cat Jur, thank you for the $30. Cat, thank you for the $30. I really appreciate that. Somebody had just left this comment not too long ago. Said, I hope this channel is being sarcastic. Socialism without capitalism becomes communism. I want to know, what books are you guys reading from? Who taught you this? Who taught you this? You know what I'm saying? And what socialist leader ever told you that socialism and communism go hand in hand? Communism is people owning the means of production. Capitalism is what we are under right now. So how do that go hand in hand? How do me getting all of my people liberated and housed can help, you know what I'm saying? And capitalism is going to help with that. No, capitalism is going to exploit those people. Capitalism is going to create jobs that's going to make it to where they can't be able to survive, but just have enough. You can't sustain off of that. Socialism and capitalism doesn't go hand in hand. I don't know who taught you this, but it's a lie. Maybe they were softening the blow because you're too weak to actually know the truth of what's going on. You're too weak to actually, take the hits of what's capitalism actually done to the people. But no, it doesn't go hand in hand. And if you put capitalism around socialism, there will be civil wars. There will be wars. There will be, disagreements like right now. You know, this is the result of capitalism. This is the result of capitalism. And you know, we do have socialism in America somewhat. We have Social Security, we have, you know, the fire departments, and et cetera, et cetera. But look how they are overwhelmed by these capitalists. Look how some of them can't even fucking. It's certain towns in America where if you're not protected by those lines, the fire department won't even come and save your ass. How does that work? How does that work? That's supposed to be a socialist movement, but you got capitalists owning fire departments and telling them what fires to put out and what not. It's good. I mean, it's not good. Yes, we have to work with capitalism. We have to work around capitalism because that is the iron fist. That is the ruler of the world right now, capitalists. So we have to work around them. So I don't blame China for having, for having to use capitalist ways to get their way. But look how they have pulled, millions of people out of poverty, while millions of us go into poverty. But anyways, let me get back to the shit. I don't know why my shit isn't working. It kind of threw me off. But nobody's after you but your damn self. You guys have given up. You guys didn't back up the railroad workers. What happened to the comrades that supposed to be in the ground, trying to hype up a wildcat strike? We could have saved our people. We could have stopped the train in Palestine from from turning over, the train in Michigan from turning over. We could have stopped the one in Chicago, Cleveland from turning over, and in fucking Texas. We could have stopped all of this. We could have stopped it, but where was you guys? Just throwing your hands up like, oh man, they made it illegal. So fuck, there's nothing we can do about it. Bull fucking shit, nigga. If it was up to us and we curved the fuck out, straight up, we should have had their backs. When the workers was warning us about moving hazardous materials on tracks that's damn near not even there. They warned us. And half of you, I'm not gonna say it's all of you, half of you did speak up. Half of you did go out. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of you just went with what the Democrats have said and just said fuck the workers, and then backed up AOC and the Democrats were breaking up their fucking strike and taking their rights away. This is our fault. This is our fault. We let them privatize dams and railroads. We let them do this. They privatize dams and railroads, something that's supposed to be shared between all of us. What happens if somebody buy a dam, zero regulations on that person or the infrastructure? What happens? When there's nobody telling them, hey, to put money in this, keep this up. Death is what happens. Death is what happens. People get killed. This is what's going on. The privatization of our socialist needs, of everything that we need, is privatized. I couldn't even ride a road down in Dallas, Texas, without paying a fucking toll. And the same motherfuckers who own those roads ain't fixing those roads up. You gotta damn near protest and strike to get those roads fixed the fuck up. And what the mayor say? Oh well, it's out of our hands because we don't own it anymore. We sold it to Joe Smo. We sold it to Dems Dem Demalone, the owner of Dems Dem Demalone. For real? You sold it to another billionaire. You sold our infrastructure to another billionaire. Get the fuck out of here. Everybody wants to think that you are a victim. Yes, you are a victim. Yes, they are poisoning you. Yes, they are poisoning your children's mind. Yes, we do eat too much sugar as Americans. Oh, yes. Oh yes, but these train derailments, nothing. That is nothing new. This is nothing new. The dams collapsing from Michigan, Texas, California, Florida is nothing new. People being drowned is nothing new. Climate change taking over whole communities, nothing new. That's not a conspiracy, my nigga. That's not a conspiracy. That's just capitalism. And whether you like it or not, this is what we get. This is what we get. So what you gonna do to fight against it? I don't know. How do you stop a motherfucker from killing you? How do you stop a motherfucker from punching you in the face consistently? How many times you guys gonna get punched in the gut, in the face, get kicked, get stuck down in the corner, and just get back up like, oh, it's okay. That's just how capitalism works. No, fuck that. Fuck that. Because it might not be Ohio next time. It might not be, you know what I'm saying, a small town in Detroit. It might be a big town in Chicago. It might be a huge town in California. And then what? Y'all need to see bodies dropping in order to fucking do something about this shit? Y'all need to see your kids dying in order to do something about this shit? Do it have to hit home in order for you to know that it's here? Do it have to hit home? That's what I'm asking you guys. What's going on? What happened to your revolutionary spirit? What happened to the fucking fighters that communists were? But you sitting here taking this shit. You sitting here letting your kids die off. Be killed off, I should say. What happened? You look at the laws, you look at the police, and you say, oh, I can't fight that. The military is too big. It wasn't never about how big the fight was. It was always about fucking fighting. This is our chance to fight back. This is our chance to really push against capitalism in the minds of those, to the minds of those who thought it was a good fucking, who thought it was a good way to survive, who thought it was a good way to have people living. No, not only have capitalism poisoned your community, poisoned your water, derailed your trains, nigga, they fucked up your whole life. They fucked up everything that we know and love. This is our time to push back, but I don't see too many of it. All I see is people like, well, damn. Oh, well, I guess that's that. No, motherfucker, get out there and start protesting. Get out there and go give out some water. Get out there and start talking to the people. Do some interviews. Pull the people out. You know what I'm saying? Go to the fucking, to the council meetings. Speak up for the ones who can't speak. Walk for the disabled. Fight for the disabled. Fight for the ones who can't fight. But we can't let this shit keep going on the way it's going, because I'm telling you guys, you guys gonna be looking like, oh, it's the Matrix. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's what these soft capitalists like to call it, crony capitalism. We don't have market capitalism no more. Nigga, this is where capitalism leads. If capitalism leads to this, then it leads to this. You can't tell me capitalism is a good thing and it leads to me. No, it leads to this every fucking time. Every fucking time. And you're gonna learn from history, or you're doomed to repeat it. You're gonna learn the hard way. A lot of you gonna learn the fucking hard way. You can't keep giving up and saying this is just how life is. No, if this is how life is, then make life better. If this is how life is, make life better. Nobody is telling you that you're going to win the fight. We're just asking you to fight. And with all the shit going on right now, the last thing I need for you guys is to give capitalism another name and another face, or blame it on something else, which it isn't. It isn't the fault of the workers. It isn't the fault. It isn't a conspiracy. This is just capitalism, hands down. It runs down everything that the workers have done, everything that the builders have made. It runs it down and squeezes out every fucking juice of every fucking drop of juice that it can, and it just throw it away like it's nothing. And next thing you know, we're gonna have another CEO. He's gonna step down. There's gonna be another evil CEO that's gonna step up and do the same shit that he was doing, and no pushback from the government. At least have pushback from the people. At least have pushback from the people. Of course, we're not going to have pushback from the government. They're the ones who sold them this shit. They're the ones who said they don't have to have regulations. They're the ones who sold them your fucking future. So why in the fuck would they do anything about it? These motherfuckers are paying these, or what they just gave $25,000, some shit like that. $5 to every fucking resident. $5, and that's what we're gonna settle for. You're gonna let your people settle for that, and they only doing it because they know you ain't gonna do shit about it. They know you ain't gonna do shit about it. They know you ain't gonna do shit. What the fuck you gonna do? You gonna make a mean tweet? You gonna ratio them? You gonna ratio them on Twitter? Oh, big deal. Wow. You really call them out. Yeah, you got 100,000 likes on your Twitter, and he's still killing hundreds of thousands of people. They still laying off workers, firing them for speaking up against the corruption, which is illegal, but nothing happens. Because we don't say anything. We don't have the workers back. When Kellogg's was on this strike, nobody really had these people back. Nobody had these people back, and they still lost the negotiations. They still lost negotiations. The fucking government still fucking pressured the workers to go back to work, and they settled for less than what they went in. They settled for less than what they went in for. Ain't that about a bitch? So, like I said, just as this training the realm and shit. Oh yeah, all that shit. Your job. You know what I'm saying? You might have some people coming in taking your job. These fucking scabs, etc., etc. It's gonna be you guys, and some of you guys needed to hit home in order to actually care, in order to actually do something about it. We sitting here watching people die off. Do you not like? I know that we are numb from watching people be beheaded on the internet since we was 12 years old. I know that, you know what I'm saying, we are numb to killings, seeing all the NATO bombing, seeing the bombing of Africa. I know we are numb to it, but goddamn, are we just gonna let this shit happen? Are you gonna grow numb to it and kill for your people too? Or are you just gonna grow numb while your people are being killed? I don't understand. I really don't. We cannot live like this. You cannot survive. None of us are going to survive this shit, man. We're not going to survive this shit. We might as well go out in a fighting way. We might as well go out fighting. It's the best way to go out. It's the best way to make your mark. Best way to be heard. Best way to solidify yourself in the future. I always tell you guys, walk in the cement while it is wet. The cement is wet. Capitalism is falling. The petrodollar is falling. Why aren't you out there in the fucking streets teaching these people about what's really going on? You got people coming over here telling us that capitalism and socialism goes hand in hand, and that's how I know you guys aren't doing your motherfucking job. They still calling Hitler a fucking socialist. I know you're not doing your job. Don't tell me you are. What the fuck are we doing here? The fuck are we doing here besides dying slowly? You waiting for your turn? You waiting for your turn? What is it going to be? Is it going to be a police bullet? Is it going to be the presidential complex? Is it going to be the military-industrial complex to come in and shoot your ass and gas your ass while you protesting for your rights? What's next? What's going to take you out? Are you just waiting on your time? Are you just waiting? I don't get it. You know what? If I gotta go, I gotta go. It is what it is. But I'm not about to sit here and let them take me. And if they do take me, motherfucker, I'm going out with a fight. But the way I see it right now, people aren't going to go out with a fight. You guys are being poisoned. They're telling you to drink poisoned water from Flint, Ohio, Florida. Florida land is giving black people cancer. Nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares. We're just gonna sit here and just go, well, it's a little cancer. What have that done to a human body? You have your leaders selling you out to big sugar. Oh, what's a little bit of diabetes? Okay. If you guys were doing your job, these motherfuckers would have had those rails fixed. If you guys would have been doing your jobs, these CEOs would be afraid to come outside, would be afraid to even catch their fucking private jet, because they don't even know if their pilot is on our side or not. They're scared to eat from certain grocery stores. They should be afraid. They should be afraid. Just like how you are afraid to walk in your own neighborhood, how you are afraid of being harassed by the police, being pulled over because that traffic stop might turn into a Capital One. They should feel the same fear. They should feel the same fear. When you think the FBI is watching your ass, the CIA is watching your ass, that's how we should be on their ass. They should feel the same fear as the proletarian, if not more, for everything they have done. Everybody they have dropped. Are we forgetting all the death that comes with capitalism? I would love for this shit to be a conspiracy. I would love for these train. There's been train derailments down there every fucking week. Only reason why there's news on it is because Democrats are in office. Of course, they need something to push back on Pete Buttigieg. Of course, Republicans are wrapping up to get rid of his ass. This been happening. This been happening since I was a child. I remember I was in Detroit and the train fell over in Detroit. I don't know if it had fucking hazards or whatnot, but this been happening. It's not a conspiracy. Your infrastructure suck. You got like a D- in fucking roads. You got like a C- or F in fucking railroads. Your dams is like a D or a C+. Your infrastructure sucks. America sucks. Capitalism sucks. Privatization sucks. It sucks. And if the people don't get a hold of these fucking goods anymore, if we can't keep putting money into it, if we can't keep on putting resources into it, then it's gonna fucking fall. It's gonna fucking fall. I would love for it to be a conspiracy. Yes, rich people are coming after you, but not in this way. They need that money they need their trains to get to A to B to make their money. They're not worried about, you know what I'm saying, really killing off too many people. They're already doing enough with the trains that's not even eco-friendly. They have enough, they do enough flying in their private jets to kill a small town. They don't need to derail any fucking things. They can just put it in your food. Like how they was trying to put the vaccine in your fucking food. They can just put it in your food if they wanted to. They can put it in your water. Nestle own the water. What you gonna do about it? If I put some poison in the water, no regulations, what you gonna do? You gotta drink it? They don't need some type of conspiracy to kill your ass when they tell you every day our plan is to kill your ass. And for some reason, you poor motherfuckers be like, oh, that's just a conspiracy. Nobody's really after the poors. You know, I like this saying, the biggest trick the devil convinced you is that he's not real. Because, you know, I have another one. You know, the biggest plot the empire has cooked up is convincing poor people that there is no plan to destroy them. There is no conspiracy to destroy you. Don't look at your waters. Don't look at Flint. Don't look at Florida. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at the droughts in California. Don't look at the people dying to death, freezing to death in the winters. Don't look at our infrastructure that can't take one winter. Don't look at none of that. Look over here. I really don't know what we're doing here. I really don't. And you know, I try my best. I'm gonna be patient with you guys. I'm gonna be patient, but I'm not about to my community not about to go through this shit again. We've been through enough. And there's a time when we have to go up in arms. I know you guys aren't as violent as you should be, but in order for you to, like, who's that said your enemy has to have a conscience? You telling me that they're poisoning people? You telling me that they are holding back information? They're holding back, you know, education. They're holding back, you know, resources from you, housing, healthcare. But you shouldn't be mad. We shouldn't find a way to try to overthrow these people. We shouldn't step over them or step on them. That's bullshit. They kill every fucking day with no remorse. Every day. See, there's a difference from a killer and a murderer. They are murderers. We have killers. People love killers. People love killers. Let you wear a badge. Oh, you a hero. Go overseas. You a hero. They love killers. Even gangbangers. We love our killers. But we don't like murderers. You don't like somebody who's going to go up and shoot up a grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Just a gun without a conscience. A gun without a motive, right? That's a murderer. But people love killers. Killers are some of our greatest heroes and inspiration to this day. Fidel Castro, Stalin, Lenin, Tupac. We love killers. If it weren't for killers, we wouldn't be here today. And we have to fucking keep that same mindset. We are killing murderers. You're not just going out targeting people. You're targeting people who targets people on a large scale. And I always tell you guys, if one person can stop a motherfucker from harming millions of people throughout generations, then you are a hero. You are a hero in the eyes of the majority. Because whether you believe it or not, nigga, nobody like America. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about the police. Nobody gives a fuck about the military. These guys are not heroes outside of America. We are the bad guys. We are the bad guys all across. Even some of these countries that we help, they know not to cross that fucking line because we are fucking murderers and we will cut you off, cut your head off, overthrow your president, all kind of shit. Hey, I like to say Lenin and Stalin didn't kill any humans. I should say that. I should clear that up. Lenin and Stalin didn't kill any humans. I don't see people who align themselves with Nazis as human. And yeah. And that's how they look at us. They look at us like, you're not even a real person. Anyway, you don't have a soul. You're a fucking black man. You're a black commie. And I'm supposed to have restraint for people like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish we could just have a better life and a better way. Nothing comes easy. You're gonna have to fight for that type of shit. I have to remind you guys that we're still fighting for the same rights that Martin Luther King died for, that Malcolm X was killed for, the same shit. We're still fighting for the same shit. We're still trying to build the same coalitions that Fred Hampton was successful building. We have been pushed back so far back. We have been pushed back so fucking far back. It's crazy that we're still fighting for the same shit. How about this? Instead of fighting for these one issue things, you know what I'm saying? People fighting for gay rights, people fighting for civil rights, people fighting for these rights. Let's just fight for it all. Let's just go all out. Because obviously, you know, we might have some disconnections and some disagreements amongst each other and whatnot, but nigga, your enemy is my enemy, and we're not really that big, you know what I'm saying, to take each other out. But this motherfucker is. He can take out both of us, and it's obvious that he's both of our enemies. You know, and I said this on the show, on our documentary. Yeah, I work with black people, I work with black people. I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? Because communism would drain your mind of all that filth anyway. I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is my enemies, the real enemies, the bigger enemies at the negotiation table while we are talking amongst one another, while communities are talking amongst one another. So it might be a white community leader and a black community leader talking amongst one another, talking about getting our communities what's needed. We're probably talking about a truce. We're probably talking about, sharing crops or growing the army together. But here you go. You got your enemy at the end of the table. Like, man, you really trust that black nigga? As soon as you get too uppity, he is gonna kill you. Then he gonna whisper in my ear. You really trust this cracker? Look what these niggas did to your people. You think that they're gonna be? And that's what they have done. They have done this for generations, kept us apart. I mean, like, what do poor whites and poor blacks have to lose by coming together? The original rednecks was just basically a whole bunch of white commies that didn't like the fucking police. They grew their own food. They policed their own neighborhoods. They did their own shit. They was anti-government. And now they have put it in the rednecks' head that, oh, you guys are patriotic and we're this, we're that, and blah. No, that's not what being a redneck was. Whites and blacks and rednecks was working together to keep our community safe from the police. They used to harass poor black and white communities. But now we're all hating on each other because who told us? Who told us to hate each other? I can't remember. Why do we hate each other? I can't remember. Was it the movies? Was it the cartoons? Was it the show? You know what I'm saying? Putting us in some kind of bad light. I'm a gangster because I got a gun, because I walk around with a gun, and I talk like this, and my pants sag. And that's a white man, that's a racist, because he has this flag, and he lives in the South, and he probably fuck his sister. You know, the stereotypes. I just don't get it. We have way more to gain. We have way more to gain than we have to lose. And even if we have those disagreements, let's talk about those disagreements with the enemy off of the negotiation table, the bigger enemy off the negotiation table, the enemy with nukes, the enemies with the power to bomb certain communities whenever they get too uppity, too rich. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they start doing, because we know the U.S. has bombed more than 30 black communities in America alone in the States. Bombed. They have built parks over grave sites. They have made man-made lakes over black bodies, dead black bodies. You think you guys aren't next? You poor whites think you aren't next? Shit. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna replace you guys with us for slavery, for cheap labor or whatever. But somehow, some way, you're gonna get it. You're not about to just be, oh yeah, we got rid of those blacks, we got rid of those blah blah this and that. Like, okay, well, you get to work now. Because I asked you guys, I was talking to a racist. I said, what? Okay, you want me to go back to Africa? All black people, all brown people, we just go to where we were originally from. What are you guys going to do without us? We are the majority of the Prussian industrial complex. That means slave labor. You still get a lot of free slave labor out of us. We are the entertainment, rappers, football, basketball, every fucking thing. What are you guys going to do without us? What are you guys going to do without black people here? What you guys going to do without brown people here? What you going to do without the Mexicans here? You're going to suffer. You're going to become a slave. You're going to become a slave to capitalism. You're going to understand why black communists and brown communists were so loud about this type of shit. Because you guys haven't really felt, you know what I'm saying, haven't really grabbed that shitty end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? Y'all haven't really had to grab that shitty end of the stick. But once it's your turn, the whites, the poor whites, you are next in line. You are next in line. You try to replace us with the Asians. They tried to replace the black slave, the Asian slave. They said, fuck, okay, we can't do this. So everybody's a fucking slave now. Everybody a fucking slave now. Thinking y'all niggas ain't next just because I'm white. Oh, I'm white, I'm safe. Shit. I wish you were. I wish you luck. Because these capitalists are going to squeeze everything they you're not human to these people, bro. If your bank account isn't saying millions and billions, you're not. We are the people. You're not one of those people that they are talking about when they mention the Constitution or anything. You are a worker. You are a slave. You making my fucking money. They can't do nothing without our fucking people. If black people left, we would just build Wakanda. Straight up. If black people left America, if all black people left, all the entertainers, all the rappers, all the killers, because we got our killers, yes. I'm not going to downplay and act like we don't have killers in black communities, but those people can be trained into soldiers. So we have our own armies, our own military, our own navy. We just built Wakanda. Then what they gonna do? Nothing. And look, this reminds me of the trespassing sign when blacks got freed, and we were basically like, shit, we already know how to grow food. So blacks was taking care of themselves. They was growing food anywhere, they was picking food, growing this.
Of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power. We read one day, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if a man does
capitalist motion and development is this inexorable expansion. And that means expansion into an expropriation of the third world, a process that's been going on for about 400 years, perpetrated by the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the Dutch, the Belgians, the French, the English, and most recently, most successfully, most impressively, by the Americans. That is by the ruling classes of these countries, not by the ordinary people. The ordinary people simply paid the costs of empire. The ordinary people simply sent their sons off to die on the plains of India or in the jungles of the Congo or in Latin America, wherever else. But that expropriation of the third world has been going on for 400 years, brings us to another revelation, namely that the third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Most countries are rich. The Philippines are rich. Brazil is rich. Mexico is rich. Chile is rich. Only the people are poor. But there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. There's been billions for 400 years. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the flax, the hemp, the cocoa, the rum, the tin, the copper, the iron, the rubber, the bauxite, the slaves, and the cheap labor they have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped, they're overexploited.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we're dealing in hate. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you? And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were made to realize how black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromising sweet talk. Stop sweet talking it. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
But we're also taught that at any time, anyone in any way inflicts or seeks to inflict violence upon us, we are within our religious rights to retaliate in self-defense to the maximum degree of our ability. We never initiate any violence upon anyone, but if anyone attacks us, we reserve the right to defend ourselves. So to accuse us of being violent is like accusing a man who is being lynched, who is being hung on a tree, simply because he struggles vigorously against his lyncher. The victim is accused of violence, but the lyncher is never accused of violence. And I only point this out because the various racist groups that are set up in this country by whites and who have actually practiced violence against blacks for 400 years are never associated or identified or made synonymous with the term violence. But whites speak of Muslims almost synonymously with violence. Whenever Muslims are mentioned by them, violence is brought up, but it's not connected with any other group. This is a sort of a propaganda tactic, or what I would call psychological warfare, to in some way make the image of the Muslims in this country be a violent image rather than a religious image.
This is the worst fucking time for Comcast to be working in my goddamn area, man. Out of all the times we call them, we don't need them, they cut the fucking Wi-Fi off. Maybe that's a fucking conspiracy. Now that's a fucking conspiracy. That's some bullshit, man. None of my shit is working. I'm working on my phone right now, so I totally lost my fucking train of thought. But for everybody who's still here, I can't see nobody who's here. I can't see no comments, anything. But if anybody's still here, anybody's still watching, we're gonna have some unreleased scenes from my documentary, Death to America. If you can stick around for a bit, Kevin should be joining us in a little while. We're gonna have, I think he has an interview that I did on the stairs. We was talking about, how socialism actually look, how it would work in a city like this. I mean, in a town like Detroit and America overall. About building the Communist Party. It's some good things that we had really poked at there. It really goes deep, not too deep into my life. You know what I'm saying? But if we can sell out this movie, if it can do good, we basically make our money back. We can do a part 2. I'm pretty sure part 2 is going to be, way better because we actually have. We actually have capital, I should say. We got the library now. We got, the community garden going on. I wanted to start building on a thrift store pretty soon. So it's gonna man, fuck Comcast, man. I'm so sick of their ass. But it's gonna be the part 2 is gonna be way better, man. You're gonna be able to see the care party. You're gonna be able to see people actually growing food and stuff like that. So if we can do this right, you know what I'm saying, or we can just fund them to come out here and do a catch up, probably next summer or whatnot. I believe everything will go straight. I think everything will go good. We just need to make sure that they get, you know what I'm saying, that they make their money back. A lot of people are like, you're a fucking communist. This movie should be free. Like, bitch, how the fuck are we gonna make any money? That's not how films work. Even if the film was free, you know what I'm saying, it's not free. You're gonna pay for that shit. Whether you're watching it off a streaming device, you know what I'm saying, streaming service, whatever, you're paying for that shit. We just trying to make sure that the people, who worked hard on this documentary get what they came out for. They came out to one of the deadliest neighborhoods in Detroit. They came out to one of the deadliest neighborhoods in Detroit and showed us some fucking love. And if that don't, you know what I'm saying, shit, if that don't tell you guys what's going on there, they don't, you know what I'm saying, prove that they at least deserve some of their money back, man. Because they was about it, it kind of threw me off. They was like, hey, we want to shoot a documentary about you. I'm like, me? What the fuck? Hold on 1 second. I think I'm back online. God damn. Hold on. I'm sorry, man. Being a communist doesn't mean you're not acknowledged the capitalist system. Yep. I wouldn't say that humble. I'm not that humble. I'm a little bit of an asshole in real life. I can get cocky like everybody else, but I really just didn't understand. But there's a lot of people out there, like, now that I look back on it, the state of the left in these years, in the past years and whatnot, the things I have accomplished just by having you guys on my side, and the people who have had you guys on their side for years now, it's just like day and night now. Now I understand, like, okay, why somebody would want to, basically shoot my life, because these motherfuckers aren't doing anything. Like, they call themselves socialists, communists, and whatever, but then they turn over and roll over for capitalists. They turn over and roll over for our oppressors. So I just don't, it kind of makes sense. I see a lot of big celebrities, big left celebrities. They have been here for years, 100,000 followers, million subscribers on YouTube, millions of dollars in the bank, but $0 for the people, $0 for the proletarian, zero education for the proletarian, no revolutionary education, none of that. You know what I'm saying? They got enough money to hire you guys to get you on the ground and write off on their taxes and get the money right back. They just won't, because they don't actually give a fuck. They're here to make a brand. I'm here to overthrow America. There is no hidden agenda. Even though I know that my plan 9 times out of 10 won't work, but instead of me going like, okay, well, we just need to reform certain things, we need to do this, we need to do no, fuck that. How about we just overthrow all of this shit and just restart? Because when you work on reforming, this was wrong with the amendments. Now the amendment's supposed to backpedal the fucking Constitution, which take away rights, and the amendments somehow give away rights unless you get locked up. This is the fucking problem. We need a redo. I'm not about to sit here and hold my tongue and watch all these people get killed by the police. Watch my people be the minority of this country, the majority of the prison industrial complex. I'm not about to have it. I'm not about to sit here and just be like, oh well, we can just hold hands with our oppressors, and maybe we just vote. No, maybe if y'all just did something different, like kill your oppressors, maybe they'd think different about, gunning you guys down or poisoning your community. Maybe if that same poison reached their fucking pipelines, maybe if that same poison poisoned their children, maybe they would think twice about poisoning yours, right? So I'm not about to sit here and act like all America need is reforming. We are living on top of a Native American burial gravesite. We living on top of Africans and dead cities. I'm not about to sit here and act like everything just needs to be reformed and it needs a little polishing and a little bit of dusting and a little bit of wax on, wax off. No. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? I'm not about to sit here and waste my time. That's all that shit is. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, because before you know it, it's going to be another disaster. It's going to be another, it's going to be some other country America's overthrown. It's going to be another community leader that America is killing. So why should I hold my breath when they don't hold their breath for a second when it comes to killing a motherfucker who threatens their power or capital? Fuck them. Don't come half. Yeah, it is back up. Don't come half-assed, because they never will. They never will. They're not about to sit here and say, oh, they're going to kill half of you guys. No, we won't leave you dead or working for us until you die. We raised up the age that you can retire at. We raised up the age of collecting Social Security. We don't give a fuck about you guys. We are killing you slowly. So I'm not about to come half-assed when my people are dying. I'm not about to come half-assed and be like, okay, well, shit, no. Everything will be okay if we just did this. Did what? If we just reformed the police? You mean the slave catchers? You're going to reform the prison industrial complex? You're going to reform the military industrial complex? Are you going to really? If I can't overthrow America and have my revolution, that shit ain't happening either. That shit damn sure ain't happening. Reforming a system that was built on slavery, like get the fuck out of here. Built on the backs of dead bodies, get the fuck out of here. Overthrow America. Because they overthrow you guys every day. They overthrow your fucking communities. They kill your fucking leaders. They poison your crops. They poison your water. They do whatever the fuck they want. So why don't you guys have that same motherfucking energy when it comes for them? But let a regular ass random motherfucker on the street say some shit. You got all the fucking energy. Let somebody come and talk shit about you on Twitter. You got all the motherfucking energy. They call you a bad name. You got all the energy. You and your followers go out and y'all go ratio these people to death. Y'all talking about them on Twitter. Y'all cancel them. But we can't get that same shit for these fucking capitalists. I don't get it. I don't get it. When Nestle said water, when the CEO of Nestle said water isn't a human right, that nigga should have been hung. He should have been hung from his tie. But no, let's fight on the internet with some people I would never know. The fuck out of here. You guys aren't serious? What's going on, Kevin?
Hey man, how's it going? I didn't want to interrupt. You were you're lagging a little bit on and off. Not sure if
yeah, my Wi-Fi fucking up, man. It's not my fault, man.
No, I know. I feel you. I mean, I live on the East Coast, dude. This winter's been terrible, so same thing. Internet's kind of on and off.
Yeah, man. I've been I know you had some unreleased footage from the documentary. Like this is nobody know we had a documentary. Okay.
I might have lost him. I think his internet connection. Well, anyone that's watching, I just wanted to mention that tonight is the live virtual screening of Rome: Death to America. Me and Rome's new documentary. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to see you guys. There's going to be a live Q&A after the film. We've got 3 never before seen deleted scenes, and we're also going to have trailers and bumpers and try to really capture like that the theater experience. So yeah, if anybody's free tomorrow, or I mean tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, it's going to be a good time, man. We've worked really hard on this movie. Here we go. Malcolm X interview part.
Dozens and dozens of instances in which Negroes have been attacked, killed in some instances.
You mean in these demonstrations?
The demonstrations and the bombings, for example, recently in Birmingham, where they killed 4 little Negro girls. And what interests me is the fact is that the Nation of Islam has not done anything to retaliate.
I think you should be happy.
The important thing is, does your lack of action contradict any of your basic principles?
I'll explain it. You should be happy that Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, number 1, don't believe in any form of integration, and who believe that every mention of the word integration by whites, whether it be from the mouth of Kennedy on down to the mouth of the lowest, raggediest white.
Anyone going to that war rally tomorrow?
Kevin, can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, yeah, you might as well just go ahead and get your clips ready, man, because this shit about to be fucking up all day. Comcast is working in my area.
Yeah, man, I'll do what I can. Let me see here.
CJ, if you can you remove Mr. X from the screen? Thank you. I think this is the unreleased. This is the unreleased footage, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to show people is an interview that we did. The full interview is an hour, but I got a solid 20 minutes clipped out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some really good stuff in here that touches on some stuff that is in the movie and some stuff that's not. You know, you only have so much time in a film, so I think it's a good. Yeah, I think it's a good interview, man. I think there's some good stuff in there.
All right. Well, this is my documentary, Death to America. You heard the name right? It's Death to America. Pretty sure it wouldn't be called anything else. But if you guys want to, please support us. You know what I'm saying? Support Right Brain TV. Support RBN. We really need all the help that we can get so we can push for part 2. You know, we can get an update on what's going on out here. We get an update on library, community garden, care party, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just keep this going and whatnot, because it's just the start. That's just the start. But it's the start of something beautiful, man. It really is. And I appreciate all of you guys even helping me even get this far, helping me get my name out here, helping me help other people to get here anyway, you know, because I wouldn't be here without you guys. And honestly, thank you. Thank all of you. You know what I'm saying? Even the hate watchers, you know, I thank you probably the most, you know, because if it wasn't for you guys pushing and talking shit about me outside of my bubbles, other people wouldn't join me in the fight for revolution or liberation now. So thank you.
All right. All right, this is the interview.
Give me kind of an idea of the family tree of what, so I can kind of get a broader picture then, I guess, like your father, like your earliest.
Yeah, I'm the middle child of 8. Me and my oldest brother don't share the same father. I got a father with my sister Sade and whatnot, but I'm the 4th of 8. We grew up on 6 Mile. I was born on Jane between Dickerson and Grover. I think, man, I hope I'm pronouncing that. I hope I said that right. But I was born on Jane. You know, we was just raised like any other black kid around this motherfucker. We weren't really any different. And that's when I was telling you how these blacks really radicalized me and let me know that we were always actually communists and moving like socialists and whatnot. Because growing up in these blocks, you know, at first it was, you know, the mother and the father in the home, and sometimes a mother can just make it off of 1 check, 1 or 2 checks and whatnot. But it started to get harder on people. We started seeing people just. Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad, man. I can't really see anything, so.
What do you mean on your phone, or?
Yeah, I can't see anything. So.
Oh, do you still want me to share my screen and play it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is the refrigerator working? Is the refrigerator working?
All right. I'm gonna share my screen then. Okay, is my screen shared right now? Sorry, guys. I think there's a couple technical difficulties with Wi-Fi. Can't see if my screen is shared.
Okay, I'm back on my other phone, so I can kind of see now.
All right, good. Yeah. Man, it's becoming the solo show here. So, is my screen shared? I can't really tell.
No.
I clicked share screen. I can see it down here. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So this is the interview. Thanks everyone for being so patient. I'll just roll this.
Give me kind of an idea of the family tree of what, so I can kind of get a broader picture then, I guess, like your mother, your father, like your earliest.
Yeah, I'm the middle child of 8. Me and my oldest brother don't share the same father. I got a father with my sister Sade and whatnot, but I'm the 4th of 8. We grew up on 6 Mile. I was born on Jane between Dickerson and Grover. I think, man, I hope I'm pronouncing that. I hope I said that right. But I was born on Jane. You know, we was just raised like any other black kid around this motherfucker. We weren't really any different. And that's when I was telling you how these blacks really radicalized me and let me know that we were always actually communists and moving like socialists and whatnot. Because growing up in these blocks, you know, at first it was, you know, a mother and a father in the home, and sometimes a mother can just make it off of 1 check, 1 or 2 checks and whatnot. But it started to get harder on people. We started seeing people disappear or going to the military, the army, or prison system, and it just never come back the same.
So the block kind of thinned out. What'd your mom do for a living to make ends meet?
Fast food. She was into a lot of fast food restaurants. She worked at Wendy's for like 20 years.
And you could survive on that, or more or less?
Yeah, back then, but that's not no.
What about your dad?
He's at where he needs to be. He's in prison, and he's gonna stay there for a very long time.
You mind me asking what he did?
Rape.
Sorry. Yeah. Were you guys close or not?
Nah, he had got out. He had did 14 years, and when he got out, we tried to get cool and whatnot, but he was still a teen in the mind. You know, I was 17, 18, he was 17, 18. So we really didn't get along like that. He did teach me how to drive, but other than that, you know, we really didn't get along. We actually fought hand to hand because it was just about that time, you know. Too much testosterone built up. I already don't know you, you know, and I'm paying bills in the house. You coming out, you think you running shit.
So he wasn't with you when you were growing. You didn't see him a lot because of the 14 years. You had no like real that kind of relationship.
No, like I used to write it when I was younger, but once I got like 7 years old, I was like, he's not coming out, so let me just move on with my life.
You're the middle child. Are you the oldest brother?
No, I'm the middle brother. Like it's the oldest is my brother Raymond, and it's me, and then it's my little brother Derek. But in between that, we got my sisters Sade, Quarter, Victoria, Sade, Cliche, and Lorraine.
Your oldest brother, like, okay, so without your dad and you growing up in jail, would you say your older brother was like a father figure? Or you just hadn't known and just had to
he was. He was more of a brother role. You know, he's 7 years older than me, so you know, by the time we was growing up, he was moving on now and doing certain things like getting into females and whatnot. So by the time I even got to his age, he was already getting ready to go. So, but he was always there. He protected us, whatnot. You can always call him. You know, he might seem like an asshole, but he's really giving. You know, for somebody that you just think that you can approach, because he's just some tall black dude who don't say much. So you see him, you like, yeah, he's gonna kill me if I ask him for a fucking popsicle or something. But he's really giving. It really is.
You guys close?
Yeah.
Your whole family still close?
Oh, yeah. You gotta stay close, because I'm not gonna say my whole family. I have a huge family. Most of us are close, especially in depending on your immediate family and whatnot. But we are close, considering that it's hundreds of us.
When we went to that house today, now that you've had time to process it, is there like impactful to go back to something that was so important to you to see it like eroded like that, or is it just like you're desensitized? It's just like fuck it. I mean, truthfully, like outside the cameras, like did it really mean anything, or it's just like whatever?
The first time I seen it like that, the first time I went back to my neighborhood and I seen what it has become, you know, it was heartbreak. But then I have to understand that this was the future that they had planned out for us. So I can't, you know what I'm saying? What the Gohan say to Cell, team for a start? You don't be afraid of the inedible. Like this is gonna happen. Don't be mad. It's gonna happen. You know. And what can we do to combat it? This where I started to really focus my anger to try to combat these things. Even if I couldn't, the best thing that I did do was wake up and put eyes on what's really going on and who's really controlling our neighborhood, who's actually holding back finances from us and opportunities from our children.
When you've talked about, if you don't mind elaborating, you've said pretty openly like overthrow the government, their targets. Do you mean literally like their targets? Or are you saying like target them in ways where you can like show up at their house and protest? Or you talking about target them, target them?
I explained this a couple of times that there is no wrong way of protesting. Everybody has a fight in a revolution, right? But I believe these protests and these riots are being used in the wrong form. The only reason why we should protest and strike is to pull out certain targets that we're trying to get, like the mayor or city council members, et cetera, because if this mayor fuck up more than one time and we lose people because of how lenient they is for the police department or whatnot, then they have to go. You know, so it's our life or theirs, and we can't play around with it like they are not sitting here plotting our destruction. We have to stay alert about this. I really mean overthrowing. I mean, whatever you want to take it, guillotine or bullets, because one of us got to go, and I don't feel like it should be.
Where do you draw the line of who's going to get it and who is like you would spare them and allow them to be a part of this world you're rebuilding? Does anybody get spared who was a part of the old way? Like remember, like for instance, Castro, right? You rode up on the yacht over through Batista, and if you were living under Batista and were loving it and didn't speak up for the poor, they're gonna take your shit.
Yeah,
you didn't say anything. Is that how you feel? Like the people who've been sitting around silent, do they have a chance to? I guess, is there redemption for them, or is it your mark?
I wouldn't hold the people that's been silent accountable too much. I'm gonna put it in their faces like you need to go grab a gun or a book and help us. But as far as the people who's gonna push against the proletariat or push against a revolution or question our motives, then you get the wall. Because why would you even if we were plotting to target certain political figures and whatnot, what do you lose or gain by us killing these people?
If somebody heard some of the things that you said, is like, I'm sure you do get this, like, especially maybe someone from my neck of the woods, that sounds nuts. Like, how could you overthrow the government? How could you build an army like that? Like, maybe could you walk me through like how you would break that down to someone in infantile mind that is even not that socially aware? Like, it'll tell you that's impossible.
I mean, we already got our army, and this is why I focus on the poor. I focus on the homeless, the people that have been drugged down, and they know that they want a better system. They just don't know what system is going to replace this one. So we have people that's already radicalized, military mindset and whatnot. They just need to actually know how to target their guns and target their anger. So you already have your army out here. The thing is, people are so afraid to actually talk to the people. So they try to play ring around the rosy and say, well, I'm going to flip some liberals. I'm going to go flip some conservatives. I'm going to talk to people that's already apolitical. I mean, I'm already talking to people who's political and not apolitical. And this is where they mess up at, because everybody think they are a part of a team. Everybody think that, if they vote and wait for something good is going to come their way. It never happened like that, and it never will. So as far as overthrowing the government, people always hit me with we have nukes and we have bombs and et cetera, et cetera. This is why you set up in strongholds. And that's why I'm using Tour for the Poor to travel around America and find, sniff out strongholds in America where I can set up shops, set up clinics, get a hold of the people, get a hold of their mind, so I can, so they will give me their body and go out front line for these things, because we have already lost our life. And once you put it in their heads, like, you lost your life more than once, and they will take your body this time if you let them. And they will be, more like, they will be more open to move with you in a militant way, because they know once you compare their life to what it was and how it is now, they're gonna look at it like, if we don't change it, nobody will.
If you instill a leader, what's to stop it from kind of just becoming what it once was? Who becomes the leader, and how do you know that they're not going to become another despot?
I'm glad you asked that, because this is why I pointed out yesterday that I will never have anybody around me that's afraid of me, especially when we're growing into power. I have to be put into check, because just because I have great ideas don't mean I won't go rogue with power or money. So you have to have people around you that's not afraid of you. You gotta have people around you. You gotta make sure that power is checked at all times. And even if I do grow into power, and if I go rogue, that's I would want the proletarian to chop my head off publicly, to make an example to anybody else. Like, we're not doing this anymore. We're not gonna let you come in, learn our language, walk the way we walk, and use it all against us. I don't give a damn if you was here for this community, that community, what your name is, or your last name. You have to go, because we're trying to find a better way, and we can't get up with all, with people like this hoarding on to power, wealth, and just doing whatever they feel with this. When I'm building a care party right now, and I'm open with it. Like, I'm building a militia. And people like, I just got the number at the,
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's that easy, because people want to overthrow America already. They just, we just have to get on the ground where the people are already at, where the people are already beat down and shot up, and, just down on their luck. And if we can at least hand them stuff right now to where they can, just be well off for a minute. I'm not gonna, like I said, I push propaganda overall. I'm an instigator. I push propaganda, and I'm just trying to spark, certain minds and whatnot. Because I'm not gonna lift you out of poverty. I'm not gonna buy you a house. I can't afford to do anything like that. But I can afford to spend some time to try to talk to you and make you realize that you are dead. You know what I'm saying? You are dead, and we shouldn't. As dead people, there is nothing to fear.
If you could sum up Rome's Tour for the Poor to just alien visiting from another planet, doesn't know who you are, like, how would you explain to them briefly what the Tour for the Poor is, what the goal is, and then compound thing, and I'm gonna just let you go. Say you did get everything you wanted, what would that world look like? What are some of the platforms we'd be living under? But start with the first part, like, what is the Tour for the Poor? Main goal, and what's the plan?
Tour for the Poor is a propaganda train. That's all it really is. And I travel different communities. I try to I feed the people. So first of all, I walk around the neighborhood. I get to learn the language and the history, learn how they speak and what mannerisms and whatnot. That way, when I go and talk to them, I won't sound like a Detroiter. I sound like I moved here a while ago, and I learned their little nicknames for the streets and whatnot, whatever the fuck, their culture. And you use it against them. You use it in your propaganda speeches and whatnot. So as I was in Florida, and people was buying liquor and buying chips and candy and stuff like that. I was like, I'm buying all this stuff.
It's like all that stuff on me. It's like, you sure? It's like, yep. It's like, damn, why you doing that? It's like,
but you're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah. It sparks conversation.
It's using it against them, manipulating them, but into their own benefit to wake them up, not to get something out of them. So it's like the opposite of.
Yeah. This is one of the only ways that Americans learn is propaganda. They have this fishbowl, you know. Yeah, they. I said fishbowl. I'm sorry. They have that fish mindset where it's so quick. Everything is TikTok, 60 seconds, 3 minutes. And, you know what I'm saying? You got to hit them with it right then and there. And it got to be a hot take. It got to be something where they are living up under. They can see, they feel or whatnot. So when I go out there and I talk about the times I have to live without lights and gas and water, that's very common. That's very common in America. It's way more common than what anybody will ever think. And once I break it down to how we supposed to actually get money as citizens from our electric grid, how we supposed to actually have clean water for humans overall, and you're like, damn, I went with all these things that should have been free. If not, we should have been getting paid for actually funding these things and paying taxes into them. So fuck this. Something has to change. If it don't change, then and another thing of how all of this is going to turn out, I don't know. Like I always point out, as revolutionaries, you will never see the fruits of your labor, but your voice will never die. You will never die because the fight lives on, and people always will teach and learn from your teachings. Marxists, Lenin, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, et cetera, et cetera. These are good examples of never dying in the revolution because you really lived it, you know, and there is nothing that they can take away. Like they can try to manipulate your words, your message, and whatnot, but overall, you will never die, and people always will look back to you or look at you as an example of a leader or being strong, standing up, not taking any shit. And that's one thing. You gotta learn how to take no shit. But as far as me pushing communism and how all of this is gonna turn out, I'm hoping that it will turn into a communist world overall. I'm hoping that we do make deals with China, Russia, and we all come into another form of a union throughout the world. But I wouldn't live to see that. I won't even live to see. I won't even live to see through this revolution, especially with the things that I'm saying now, and I'm getting bigger and bigger. It just put a target on my back, you know, and I know that my days are numbered.
When do you think you started to embrace the idea of death? So is that from a young age, or is that more when you started to take the revolutionary stuff? Like, where did that?
I always knew I can wake up and just die, you know what I'm saying? And that was like one thing I had to get out of my head of fearing death. That should be the last thing that you fear. The first thing you should fear is these motherfuckers gonna water down your message when you're gone. Is it gonna lead your people astray? Is your word strong enough to stay? Is your word really solidified in the stone? You know, death should be the last thing that you should be worried about because it's going to happen. And whether you are Malcolm or whether you are Martin Luther King, they have a bullet for all of you. Whether you're violent or non-violent, if you are fighting against the system, if you are exposing the war crimes, they will lock you in the prisons, Julian Assange. You know, if you expose their war crimes, they lock you up and make you seem like you're crazy, like they did Daniel. Violent, non-violent, if you are a reporter, as long as you are against this system, they have a bullet for each and every last one of you.
Why do you think that the sort of white patriarch, the sort of slave masters that started this country, and we still have them today, why do you think that establishment specifically fears black people, or do you think it's just any minority, or like what do you think it is that makes you at least feel that they have this intention to push this one group down? What do you think they're so afraid of? They're
afraid of revenge more than anything, and this is one thing. They afraid of us teaching what actually goes on, and because a lot of these people are still alive. You know, this hasn't been that long. My grandmother was a slave, you know, in the fields down south, and my grandfather was brung over here. So this wasn't that long ago. And if we was actually teachers going on, you're gonna look over like, grandma, you know. And it's one thing that they don't want to open. They don't want to open up that can of worms. But I can tell you right now, Black people do not want revenge. If we want revenge, then white people will not be able to walk through the streets of Detroit just freely, you know, or just move in here. Even though we bitch about gentrification, even though we complain about people taking over our neighborhoods, we never actually or physically hurt them, you know. But the system, they fear people actually being educated, and it's one thing of these people being stronger than you, can build faster and shit like that. But if you give them the education, then they're gonna use the tools that you gave them to build, you know what I'm saying, your houses, your yachts, and your guns, whatever, and they're just gonna turn all this shit against you. And why not? We're not gonna put an end to racism. That's a hope train. We're not gonna put an end to crime. We're gonna control these things. We're gonna get people rehabilitation, and you know, it's gonna be healthcare and clean water and just the basics. You know, this is what communism is pushing people back to, the basics of human nature. You know, and it's not gonna be some overall fantasy land. We will have bad parts that we need to fix on that have been ran down by capitalists. It's gonna take some cities and some areas generations to even get the money back to rebuild the infrastructure in these places and whatnot. But overall, we will set the people up with the basics: a roof over their head, drinkable water, the best education that we can give you, no matter where your neighborhood starts or stops.
What happens to the wealthy people? Like,
they're dead. They're getting. Yeah. I'll say, I'm not gonna say millionaires, because those are low targets. You know what I'm saying? We have billion and trillionaires now. We have people controlling, you know, our water. The CEO of Nestle, he has to die. You know, it's a lot of people that really that deal with slave labor. And,
see, it may sound crazy to someone to be like, "Wow, he's talking about killing," but the guy Nestle, how many people has he killed?
Yes,
you know?
And he don't even believe that he don't believe humans deserve drinkable water. So yeah, he can die.
and then all that wealth just gets divided up amongst.
Yes, we're gonna give back the land. We're gonna give back the money. We're gonna give back all we can. And this is so important. This is why I always mention intersectionality, or you know, saying land back and stuff like that, because we can't just rule over these people in their communities, right? We gotta give them back power. We gotta give them power in their communities so they can have government say so. They can have say so in their governments or in their towns or whatnot. We can't just say, okay, well, we're a communist nation and you own nothing. Like, okay, that's true. We own nothing. But the people of this land, you know what I'm saying, they deserve to at least prosper here. So we're gonna make sure the natives get what they need. Not only the Native Americans, you know, the Latino natives, and you know, it's a big group of people that people just tend to forget about, you know, or just don't bring them up in a conversation at all. But yes, there will be land back. There will be redistribute. We will be pushing out their wealth from the Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, the oil tycoons that they don't want you to see. You know what I'm saying? All those evil people that really control these corporations that they don't want you to see. And like when I say revolution, I don't mean us going out with our guns. It would be fun. Go out with the guns, you shoot anybody you see moving. Okay. What have you accomplished? Besides shooting one of your neighbors, or, you know, all right then. So we target certain individuals. Certain individuals hold certain strongholds. They hold certain some money, they hold land, and once they are gone, you know, that land either goes back to the banks or wherever, and then we start to follow the money straight down to where the power is held. So we don't just get out here and just say, oh, let's go burn down a bank. That's a branch. The bank was a branch of other banks. There's 100 more just like that, and you just actually gave them more money because of the assurance. So if you want to stop the banks from making money, kill the bankers.
That's it.
That shit, though, I do not remember that fucking interview, but that shit was dope.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it seems like you don't remember a large portion of the making of this film, but that's okay because I think we caught some good stuff. I mean, you were busy. You were running around a lot. It was like while you were doing the film, you were still doing, your direct action and stuff like that. I mean, and we got up there Friday, and it was like 12 hours a day. So, I mean, I can understand that.
Man, that was dope. But I think I got just about everything that I needed across in there. Showed just about everything that needed to be said. And yeah, like, I don't know, y'all. It's just these days we living in these evil times. These are the last days that we should take anything, lightly. I don't like the self-censorship when people be like, oh well, let's off them or make them off themselves or do this. And those the little censorship that they do to themselves. Like, fuck all that. If you want these people to die, tell them to their motherfucking face. You know what I'm saying? Tell them how you really feel, man, because they showing you with action. They showing you with money, with the capital. You know what I'm saying? Taking shit away from you, opportunities.
I think the interview, it's crazy. We shot that 8 months ago and it's still relevant. Look what just happened in East Palestine, Ohio. I mean, people are going to die for that. I mean, the people that are involved in that are murderers. I mean, there's people that are going to get sick. I read a story of a woman whose cat just dropped dead, pretty quickly, and it's been their pet their whole life. I mean, these people are killers, and they've used Hollywood and the mainstream media. I mean, America, beyond just imperialism, it has the strongest PR team ever. I mean, they have a multi-billion-dollar, highly advanced propaganda factory, which is Hollywood and the mainstream media, that can desensitize us to war. And in some ways, I think that's how they've bent the narrative, that these people are killers, but, these people are just politicians. They just made a mistake. Things happen. You see Obama always saying, you make these decisions and you do the best you can, and it's all bullshit. I mean, these people are psychopaths. I mean, they're leading us to a nuclear war so they can write, constant checks to weapons manufacturers. Even if we all die as Canada.
Like, I don't know how many bills they can cut for these corporations. So people are like, all right, you obviously work for these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? During pandemics, during recessions, depressions, all the handouts have been given to big corporations. While at the same time, they let those same corporations talk shit about the people and withhold money and welfare from the proletariat. It's just insane to me. And that's why people be looking at me like I'm crazy. No, I'm looking at you like you crazy. What the fuck you mean you don't want to kill these people? Oh, you just gonna talk about their killing? You gonna talk about them murdering fucking, communities of people? You know what I'm saying? Or replacing people? Like, come on, man. Something has to be the line in the sand. We have to draw the line in the sand somewhere. And if you don't, they're gonna keep moving. They're gonna keep moving forward until your ass is knee deep and damn near, I mean, neck deep in the fucking water because you never drew the fucking line in the sand. Now they didn't push you back. Now your ass drowning because you didn't prepare you never learned to fucking swim. You didn't prepare for this day. You let them push you back into the waters, and now look, it's a fucking shame that we gotta see all these fucking killings even to this day. It's a shame. It's a fucking shame. Somebody has to be like, I don't know, maybe we need a fucking Batman or a Goku or something. Somebody need to come out and kick some ass. But something gotta change.
I mean, I think I was saying the last time I was going to show you, you always hear, especially from the right, like the indoctrination of schools. And I think the real indoctrination in the institutions and in schools is war and imperialism and desensitizing children to those ideas that this is the things you need to do to have a functioning society. And, you have to make tough decisions where people will get killed. It's all bullshit. I mean, that was one thing. That's one thing that twisted my mind was when we went out to film the doc, and I didn't have that much experience with you. I'd seen your show a bit, but it was definitely going to be an eye-opening experience for me. And I like to approach documentaries kind of unbiasedly. If I was like a huge fanboy, it might have been different. But right from the beginning when you're talking about, you know, gang members and people that are considered killers in these communities. And if you think about it, I mean, there's no, you know, I'm not rationalizing killing anyone, but I'm saying that the people in these higher positions have killed whole communities, like you said, whole towns. They've drone striked weddings and done things that even gangbangers wouldn't do. I mean, for, you know, for a lot of the same reasons, you know, power and money, and, you know, they have a lot more in common in a way.
Like we don't like murderers, of course, but everybody loves the killer. Everybody loves the killer. If it wasn't for some killers, some of the most important killers, some of the most important people that we idolize are fucking killers. They have the heart to kill when needed. And you have to have that. You have to have that in your fucking heart. You have to know when it's time to fight back. See, now we are on the defense. We are literally on the defense. We are protesting. We are striking for our jobs, for our civil rights, for this, for that, all kind of shit. Dude, we're gonna keep going through this shit. We're gonna keep going through the shit unless we have a full-on revolution. Nothing else. Nothing else. Because reform does nothing but keep these people in power who has given us, who has led us on this track that has derailed. No pun intended.
Yeah, no, they've set up a system where it's as simple as writing a check, you know, and so like you have a system where, like, if one of us gets pulled over, you know, $100 ticket could really hurt us, but with these companies, it's like we'll get an entire population addicted to legal heroin, and we'll write a check, and everything will keep moving. I mean, everything is easy. Everything's for sale in a capitalist society
because they can't really address the problem. The problem is capitalism, so they're not going to say. You know, like I just saw the board that said, you want to stop suicide, slow down suicide rates, and lock up your gun safely. Like, what? That's not going to stop people. That a gun just make it more convenient for me to kill myself. I could have threw myself over under a fucking car or off a fucking bridge. You know what I'm saying? What people need is mental help. What people need is help. But you can't address that because capitalism doesn't do anything for people that need mental help or the disabled people that's going through them suicidal stages. When they finding out their disabilities. They don't have any help for them people. They don't have anywhere for them people to go.
Yeah, I have friends that have spent a lot of time in homeless shelters, living in them. I have friends who've spent time in institutions, mental institutions, and it's amazing how much money gets siphoned off the top. But for instance, the one guy I know would rather live on the street than live in one of those homeless shelters. They're dangerous. They're not even safe. They'll have there was one notorious one. One of the members of our group actually used to live in. It's like 3 floors, and there's like 100 people packed in one room, and there's only 2 people on each floor watching you for safety. I mean, it's really like you have people in inner cities with 7-year-old textbooks. I mean, it's the municipalities become nothing more than money laundering, and it's a shame because it hurts the socialist or communist agenda or cause. They can always point and say. Republicans will point and say, well, look at all the money coming off the top and look how it's being used. Yeah, because of capitalism. That's why. That's why it's not working. Social programs aren't working because the money's being taken right off the top. It never reaches the hands of where its destination is. They'll start a community.
They write a bill for some shit to pass. They take the money right forward before the shit touch the teachers or the libraries. I remember they defunded the schools here so much. They knocked down over 40-something schools. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. I'm like, I watched all my childhood schools get knocked down.
I mean, it's crazy. They don't even teach civics in class anymore. They don't even want people to know their rights. You know, that used to be a required class, is to learn, you know, what the Bill of Rights were and what powers you have as a citizen. They don't even want you to know that anymore. I think it was under Nixon that they actually stopped having that class. I mean, dude, that shit in Ohio is crazy. I saw a video of a woman like swirling the water around, and it just became this like reflective, like it was just disgusting. Dude, there's like frogs floating in it, and they're telling these people because of capitalism, no, just go back to your home. Yeah, I mean,
boil the water, do everything, but look at what the problem is. And like I was saying earlier, this is our time to go in that town and take over. Like we can educate the people of Ohio, real. Of not like this is the danger of capitalism, and sometimes it has to hit home for a lot of people to actually see it. They have to feel it. They have to feel it. Like they see it and scoff at it. They throw their hands at it. Oh, people was freezing in Texas. In Texas, well, they should never voted for Trump. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Scoffing at, like, you guys not gonna talk about. Maybe we should invest in infrastructure down there. Maybe we should invest in the infrastructure down there. Maybe we should look out, you know what I'm saying, for the next time this shit is gonna happen. Because if it froze, if people froze to death in Texas, when is it's gonna happen in Arizona? It's damn sure gonna come to Arizona. It's gonna come to those hot states, California, and all. Oh yeah, it's gonna come. And all these people who are ignored and scoffed and threw their hands at it, they're gonna feel it. And like I'm telling you, you either gonna become a communist or they're gonna make you one. They're gonna make you one. Like I had no choice but to be a socialist growing up. We had no choice but to share goods with our neighbors, but to help each other with food, rent, cars. You know, we had no choice but to live like that. And
yeah, you told me you said you guys used to share power, share electricity.
Yeah, we share electricity. Throw the fucking extension cord over to the next window. Oh yeah, help them out on their bill when we can. Oh yeah, we had no choice but to live like that. But when it hit these motherfuckers who just scoffed at all these people going through all this misery, then you're gonna be talking about some socialism. Then we're gonna be talking about some socialism now. Now we're going to be talking about getting money to the people. Now we're going to be talking about building more infrastructure. Now we're going to be talking about public transportation and et cetera, et cetera. Oh, now you want to talk about it. Oh, yeah, because it hit you, didn't it? It hit you. And the people that was hurt, we tried to tell you what was going to happen. We tried to tell you. We tried to look out for you. You scoffed and you threw your hands at even the idea. But now you have no choice. Because like I said, nobody drew the line in the sand, and now you're neck high in water, and you didn't prepare to swim. You didn't prepare for these tides to be as big as they are. You're a great swimmer, but you ain't out swimming that shit. You ain't out swimming that shit. I guarantee that.
Dude, one of the stories that really like put in perspective, you know, capitalism run amok and how desperate it is in Detroit, which is just, I think, a microcosm of cities, you know, all over the country, is it didn't make it in the film because, I mean, it sounds weird to say, it just was such a downer. I just didn't put it in. It didn't have anywhere to fit. But when we first met CT, he told a story where, like you said, people sharing electricity. I guess someone he knew, there's a lot of abandoned houses in Detroit. When you have nowhere to live, some people will like squat in them, but they were trying to steal electricity just so they could have power. This couple, and when they found them, they had been like essentially melted together. They got electrocuted.
Yeah,
they died. I mean, that is like, I mean, that was like jaw dropping. You know what I mean? Horrifying. It's the mind shudders.
That's my ex-father-in-law. His uncle passed. You know, because the city cut your lights off. You can. You know what I'm saying? Call the local crackhead, you know what I'm saying? They come hook your lights up. But he just went on a bad day. It was raining, and I don't know, he just didn't do it right. And he electrocuted himself so bad that he was on the pole when they got him down.
Yeah, I never heard of anything like that. I mean, that's like, it's horrifying, man. I mean,
it's the lengths that we got to go living under a capitalist nation. Just to survive as humans. We should be getting money from the electric grid, not the other way around. We shouldn't be paying no damn electric bill when our taxes is the ones who fund this shit.
Yeah, my wife's from China, and so she spent a lot of her time in a communist country, and she was shot when this stuff happened in Ohio. She's like, yeah, but they're gonna fix it, right? I'm like, she's like, no, but they're really gonna fix it, right? Like that, like they have to. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, she couldn't believe it. I mean, that's
everybody $5. How about we just pay everybody $5 and tell them, you know what I'm saying? Sit on the middle finger and spin.
I mean, those people should be in prison at the very least. I mean, in prison, let alone paying $5 a person. I mean, they should be in jail.
And
the only
everybody who supported them should be to everybody who supported the Democrats shutting down those strikes, taking those rights away of the workers, because they warned them that this is going to happen. They say, hey, we need better lookout on safety. You know, so we need regulations on the safety. It's not safe out there. They're like, oh, well, my bank account said everything's safe. So you're fired. and the rest of you get back to work.
Yeah, I hate to be grim, but I haven't seen water like that since there's a film from 1979 before, a Soviet film called Stalker, and is made by this leftist political filmmaker from the Soviet Union named Tchaikovsky. But in Stalker, essentially, I'll just give you a quick brief. It's about how, I guess, in the future, there's this one territory in the Soviet Union that no one knows how it got there, but they believe it came from space. So it's all roped off by the government. You're not allowed to go in. It's like alien property. And this guy's job, this poor guy, is he like sneaks people in there for sightseeing. And apparently there's like a part of it that's like otherworldly and you can get your greatest desire, but whatever. So the filmmaker actually shot near nuclear power plants in the Soviet Union just to get this crazy look of everything in the glistening water that looks a lot like Ohio's water, and it had been dumped with nuclear stuff. And the actors are getting in the water. And dude, 10 years later, both the main actors in the movie died. The guy whose wife was working on the movie died. The director died. The camera guy died. I mean, they all died from cancer. There's videos of, the actor in the water, shooting the scenes and stuff. I mean, his hair all fell out and he died at 45 years old. So and that water looks like Ohio. I mean, it's that same, like you stir it up and it glistens. And I mean, dude, I think this is a lot worse than people realize. And that water is going to reach other.
I was scared for them people going out there. It's like, look at the water, look at the water. I'm like, look, you need to stay the fuck away. If you're going to come around that water, wear a hazmat. Because that air is polluted than a motherfucker.
Toxic, man.
Said their skin was burning.
Yeah, man. I mean, are we seeing the end of times, man? I mean, you see this going on over here. Last summer, you saw the video where there was just 100 dead cows. I mean, is this the end of times? Like, it's people are starting to realize the scariest part is there's no one coming to save you. We've always been built. That's the indoctrination also in schools, is that there's a government out there that will protect you if things get really bad. We've seen them come together but then when you get older, you start picking it apart. You're like, they didn't come together in 9/11. They used it as an opportunity to target Muslims and build up surveillance and make money off of it. There wasn't any kind of, it's just how you remember it as a kid. But when you take the rosy lenses off and you look at it as an adult with a bigger perspective of American imperialism and colonialism, you'll see that it was just used as a larger way to enslave the population and to find a new enemy and a new target. And you're already seeing it now. They're blaming Republicans for what happened in Ohio. It's blame anyone but capitalism. That's what I've seen. It's just keep passing it. It's Trump. No, it's Buttigieg. I mean, it's all of those people. Don't get me wrong, but it's capitalism. I mean, that's what it is.
Obama era. It was the Obama era.
Yeah,
it's crazy how all the blame get blamed on. Yeah, but it's funny you brought up the end of times, because as an atheist and a communist, I always looked at religion like it was used, and I feel like the end of times is always it's their way of saying the end of capitalism, end of the reign. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how all this shit, like they be like, oh look, the Bible predicted this and predicted that. No, that's just what happens under a capitalist nation. Birds gonna fall out the sky because of the pollution. You know what I'm saying? The fish are gonna die. They're gonna have oil on them because of the pollution, and the toxic dumping. This is just what happens. It isn't a book predicting this shit. It's humans just doing this shit. It's humans just killing the fucking the ecosystem, literally.
Dude, I live I grew up in a more white picket fence suburb outside of still underfunded schools outside of Philadelphia, and where we live is really high cancer rates, man. I mean, they're out of control. There's a place down the street called Superior Tube that basically bribed off the EPA, and they had a chemical leak, and we got the nuclear power plants right there. I mean, the cancer rates near here are huge, and they were going door to door, just trying to get people to sign off saying they wouldn't sue them. And a lot of people I know, my friend, Mark's dad got cancer. I mean, I know 3 people that got leukemia in the same college, in the same friend group. They all got leukemia. I mean, that's probably a little extreme, but I mean, that's nuts. I mean, it's not just it is in poor communities, but I mean, it's nationwide, the EPA being bought off, and I mean, it's out of control. It's terrifying. And then you add nuclear war on top of that. And
community, but look, sign these papers real quick. We're totally sorry for everything that we did. Have a great day. Like, what? What the fuck you mean you killed my community? And they just write it off. They just write you off like you weren't a whole human being.
I mean, That's why I think the Death to America title of the film can actually be taken like two different ways. Is I think there's the more obvious thing of like, oh, Rome is saying he wants to overthrow America. But I think there's another idea of like the death to America sort of has already happened. It's the crumbling of an empire. You're saying it's time to destroy it and replace it. It's basically demolished. It's basically falling apart. So I think that there's sort of a twofold thing there. Is like, I mean, it's hard to believe that you're the one killing America. I think America's already on its way out.
Yeah.
You're seeing it in the standings in the world. Even our allies are starting to look at us different after the Nord Stream stuff. You know, it's like, wow, these motherfuckers are crazy.
South Africa joined BRICS. It's over. Man.
Yeah, the U.S. is driving countries into BRICS. I mean, they're driving these countries to join up with somebody else just by their behavior.
They hamming people up like, don't you love me? Don't you love how I love you, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Spitting all in your mouth and shit. Like, don't you love me? Now, give me your damn money.
Oh my gosh, the United States condescends so much to African countries. They really think that, like, I don't know if they think that a lot of the countries in Africa don't know what's going on or something, but they seem so shocked that these countries would support Russia and China, and especially China has donated so much money to them. And though I've been on other podcasts and gotten a lot of flack for saying it, even though China may, exploit, there could be an argument made for that in parts of Africa, which they invested. I mean, that not excusing it, that's how global relations work. People help this person out and they want something back. But the fact that they've donated more money to Africa than any country ever and have built infrastructures and things like that is a testament. I know people that have been to Africa and
forgave more debt than anybody I can think of right now. And all Americans, these proud Americans, the only thing that they have is projection. This is a debt trap. This is a debt trap. You know how many debt traps we got? We got Africa on there. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Y'all have nothing but projection because this is all we do to countries. Everything that y'all trying to say China and Russia is going to these countries. No. History don't even fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing agrees with you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's a conspiracy, I should say, or wherever the fuck you gotta make up some bullshit like that but that's Americans, man. We don't learn, foreign policy. You can't really take Americans serious when it comes to talking about other countries. Even me, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't know everything. I don't know the ins and outs, the bad. Even the bad that some of the leaders that I look up to have done to these people and whatnot. So I don't take Americans too seriously when it comes to foreign policy. I just go talk to the people who actually live there. I try to connect with the people who actually are in those communities. Americans they don't know what the fuck. We some of the dumbest people on earth. Like, the last thing I'm gonna take from American is his teachings on foreign policy, or even motherfucking in Canada. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
I mean, there's two things too. I mean, one, they say that stuff about China with the debt collection, but then they'll go pay their American Express card. And the thing about that is the credit card and the predatory lending system in America is so crazy that even the mafia stole those ideas when they started doing bust outs, where they started lending people money that they knew they'd never be able to pay back, and just compounding them into oblivion with interest. So, I mean, there's that. And when it comes to like foreign leaders in other countries, I think America surprisingly has the most sort of, I think there's such shades of gray with a lot of socialist and communist leaders, but with America, it's probably the most black and white because it's capitalism. It is only done for money. But if you look at like Mao, one of the biggest critiques could be the way that he sort of empowered Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia and kind of letting them do their thing, which was, brutal. But even when you look at that stuff, there's a lot of shades of gray. If you look at the stuff that happened with Mao, he gets a lot of criticism for a lot of the people that died. The numbers are greatly inflated, but a lot of that was out of his control. There was weather problems and there's a lot of things that, history has just become so black and white. But America is probably the only country where it is kind of black and white. I mean, there hasn't been too many wars in the last 70, 80 years that have been justified in any regard whatsoever. I mean, none.
At all. Well, if you can justify being a capitalist, then yeah, you can justify those wars. Because people know, like, the government have came out and said, okay, yeah, we lied. And all these people who take up for these motherfuckers said, well, it was a mistake, you guys. No, they said that they lied. And Nancy Pelosi said, I knew Joe Biden was lying You know what I'm saying? I knew Bush was lying. I'm sorry. When she said she knew Bush was lying, she should have been locked up right then and there. What the fuck you mean?
Yeah.
In a just world, she would have been locked up.
Yeah,
Millions of people
yeah.
and
She's a war
you
criminal.
lied and you still let us go to war. And people be like, oh, boss, girl boss, yeah. Clap, clap, clap. Rip up that paper. Yeah, girl. Get the fuck out of here. She's a murderer.
Yeah, the Ukraine stuff's crazy because people who I knew 2016, they were woken up by Bernie and they're so anti-war, they're saying, and we can't have what happened with Iraq happen again. I can't believe how many of them fell for Ukraine. It's like that's how powerful the Hollywood and the media propaganda machine is.
Man,
People I know.
No, bro. Don't let these motherfuckers fool you. They stand with Ukraine because they stand for white supremacy. They know it's been, we have had enough education. Like a lot of people did say that they stand with Ukraine, but a lot of those flags start coming out those bios when motherfuckers got educated on what was really going on. We saw them Africans getting pushed out of those train stations, getting jumped on. When you see people getting tied to posts, getting sprayed in their face with spray paint, whatever the fuck. You know, when you see in this shit, you see they ass with Nazi, doing a Nazi salute. Yeah, you had time to educate yourself, to learn what was going on. And if you do today, you know you stand with white supremacy. I'm not hearing that bullshit that you stand with Ukraine because Russia is and that and blah, blah, blah. Because you can't stand with the people who was terrorized with NATO and stand with NATO at the same time. That's impossible. You know, so you trying to play the fence so we won't call you what you really is, an enabler of white supremacy.
Yeah. What's crazy? What's crazy?
They support. They don't support Israel, right? They don't support Israel, right? But they're fucking. But the people like AOC do. The people that they vote for do. The people that they support and give money to, even though they're gonna make a tweet about how it's so wrong, how they just killing journalists and killing kids out there while you go ramp. You know what I'm saying? Hype up this motherfucker who giving money and weapons directly to these motherfuckers. They don't want to be called what they really are, white supremacists. They're just white supremacists in the closet. They're white supremacists with a smile. They're white supremacists with a hug, but they're white supremacists overall.
Yeah, do you remember? If you remember when the Ukraine stuff happened, everybody was trying to say and it's a very racist country. I think it was not UNICEF. It was one of those charities, those scam charities. They were trying to send volunteers to Ukraine, and it leaked online. They were circling around a little memo like, if you're black and you go to Ukraine to help, just be aware they might call you a monkey. It's like, what the fuck? You're going there to help these people, and they might call you a monkey. I mean, that's mind blowing. That the fuck, like that? That's shameless. I mean, how about? I mean, think about this irony.
Culture is different. You got to keep in mind the culture is yeah. I know the culture is different. They racist as fuck over here. You telling me a European country don't have fucking Nazis in it? You're fucking right. You're fucking right.
Dude, it's 2023, and we're seeing Russia take on Ukraine, and Ukraine is using German tanks with Nazi insignias on it. I mean, that's a head trip. And now the U.S. is on the side of Ukraine was occupied by Nazis, and they never really got rid of that element. And it's crazy. That's one of the reasons I think Germany strongly didn't want to send tanks there, is they're like, oh my God, the optics of this shit. If there's fucking German tanks in 2023 rolling around with Nazi symbols on it, I mean, and they did it, and they gave in. And I just saw there was a flyer going around. There was a paper that got leaked too in Germany where they were saying they were letting Ukrainians know that if you come here to train and we see you saying this or doing this, we're going to find your ass, or you might even serve 30 days in prison. I mean, it's pretty bad when you see these kind of memos circling, like telling people not to do a Hitler salute. It's crazy to see a sports event where people are hailing Hitler. I'm half Jewish. I mean, it's crazy to see that kind of stuff in 2023. And to see the U.S. funding a country like that, sending them jets. They're talking about sending them jets, send them tanks, send them, HIMARS and Stinger missiles. And it's fucking crazy, man.
Like, oh, well, we don't have anybody. We're not actually at war, because there's actually no actual. Man, shut the fuck up. We're in World War III right now. You're trying to ease the people into it. You're trying to ease the people into World War III. Look at all these countries. And I told people that, look, Africa is going to join Russia. China is going to have Russia's back. North Korea, the DPRK, is going to have North Korea's back. I mean, it's going to have Russia's back, which they all did. They all came out like, look, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We know, you know what I'm saying? We sending out missiles too. We sending out, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that America has to fall.
Yeah. I mean, the U.S. has made bedfellows with most of the countries with the worst history. Japan basically became a puppet state for Imperial Japan turned into a U.S. puppet state. I mean, and look at it. I mean, I'm saying we should hold Japan accountable now, but if you look at the DPRK, I mean, it's a similar thing. I mean, they've seen a lot of terrible shit on the end of the United States. You know, we destroyed Korea. We split it up, and Soviets, you know, essentially helped build one side and we helped build the other. But the U.S. wanted to instill in Korea back then a guy from America, and he's from California. They wanted to put a guy in charge. I think originally Korea wanted to have sort of community, like every area would have their own sort of designated leader, and they'd kind of have this kind of come together democratic approach to things. And the U.S. shit all over that. You know, they didn't like the idea of this sort of shared power amongst the citizens. But the United States is basically
like communism.
Dude, I mean, now it's Japan, the United States, you know, Japan supporting the United States, supporting Ukraine, who, you know, more or less is full of neo-Nazis and white power. I mean, Russia is a fairly diverse country. I mean,
I mean, Japan just put out the official military page. They put out a tweet not too long ago with a handful of their soldiers behind a fucking what was that, the Black Sun flag or something like that. I was like, this is fucking, well, it is what it is. Like, at least we know who we against. Like, and this is why I like that they're being so open. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to know who I'm actually fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because liberals, they try to play the fence and be like, no, these motherfuckers like, I want to kill your black ass. I want to kill you, you fucking Jew. I want to kill you. I want to kill you. I want, you know what I'm saying, to wipe your existence off of this world. So I know who the fuck I'm fighting. It's good. I say it's good. So we can prepare.
Yeah, you know, it's good to know you're.
Don't prepare to, you're a motherfucking fool.
Yeah. I agree. Are you? I mean, I know I've heard what you said about it, but if you lived closer, would you go to the Rage Against the War Machine rally, or would that be a pass for you, just not believing rallies really do much, or what would your thoughts be if you lived? I know you live pretty far. I mean, there's no way you're making it, but
I can't make it. But yeah, man, whoever can do whatever to speak against the shit. It don't. I'm not even hip to a lot of these speakers. You know what I'm saying? I barely. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hip to a lot of these speakers anyway. So, but if they speaking out against war, fuck it, so be it. This is not gonna be the first or the last rally against. But to the people who feel different about the rally, we can always do one ourselves. Let's get people around. It's a job, but it isn't that hard. There's a lot of people out there who want to speak against war, and if you know you have the silver tongue to talk to people and get them on the ground, you know what I'm saying? Use it for the people. Use it against one rally. As far as this rally, you know what I'm saying, it's just like any other rally I feel about. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw large Black Lives Matter movements in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even go there. I'm like, yeah. Like what y'all gonna what are we actually gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it's good to speak out against war and whatnot, but the way I'm like past that shit. Like, I'm already ready and strapped up. And, you know, like, what are we gonna do to stop these people? How are we gonna stop? Man, it ain't really gonna stop a war. It ain't gonna start a war. So.
Yeah. It's crazy because I don't know anybody that supports the war in Ukraine. I don't know, like even parents. I don't know anyone really. I don't. Even people I know that have been on the wrong side in the past, still saying like, "Why are we sending all our money to Ukraine?" Especially things like Ohio start to highlight how fucking crazy that really is. And you only got $5 for them, and if you were okay with it, I wanted to talk about the screening just a bit, in case anybody any questions or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Shit. What time we screening?
The screening starts at 7 p.m., but you can come in at 6 p.m. There'll be trailers and bumpers, and you can kind of just get your stuff set up, grab snacks. You can kind of check the audio, grab a beer, grab a joint. But 7 o'clock, the movie will start. There'll be some trailers beforehand, and then Yeah, and then we're going to run the film, and then afterwards there's going to be a couple deleted scenes. There's 3 solid deleted scenes that didn't make the movie that I like. One where CT's telling a story about an interaction he had with a cop. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with CT we wanted to put in the movie. It just doesn't really fit anywhere. But yeah, and then afterwards we'll do a Q&A. And if you come to the screening live, you'll be able to type a question in or give feedback, and we'll read it out loud live after the show.
All right. Well, shit. Well, my phone about to die. Y'all heard him. Buy a damn ticket. Buy a damn ticket because we need the support so we can do a part 2 to it. Because part 2 is gonna be bonkers, man. I think it's gonna be way better than this one because we actually got stuff to deliver to the people. It's gonna be beautiful, man.
Cool,
Especially
man.
once we get everything running, stage 5 shit, library open. Oh, donate to my library. Donate to my library. I'm opening up a library. I'm like a quarter way done of fixing it up. You know what I'm saying? We still got to put up drywall and paint. Almost. Donate to Tour for the Poor, Cash App, Venmo, Unholy Rome 6 on PayPal. I need all the help I can get. Subscribe to RBN Substack. My phone is about to die, so I got to go. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but I got to go. CJ gonna take y'all out with a video, and I'll be back in a day. So
Thanks for having me, Rome. Everybody, $10 for a ticket. Help us sell this out. RightBrainStudios.tv. Thanks.
It has been said that I have 2 alternatives: either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali has just refused to be inducted into the United States Armed Forces.
He refused induction on the grounds of his religious convictions on war.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger.
You know, Muhammad Ali is really important in this because when Ali refuses induction, there's a famous column in the New York Times written by Tom Wicker where he just wonders out loud what would happen if you had 100,000 Muhammad Alis. If you had 100,000 people who were prepared to do what Muhammad Ali just did, you would bring this war to a stop. So the draft resistors set that kind of as a goal.
It took an all-white jury less than a half hour to find Muhammad Ali guilty of all charges and specifications. He was sentenced to the maximum, 5 years in prison, and was fined $10,000.
No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't.
I find nothing amusing or interesting or tolerable about this man. He's a disgrace to his country, his race, and what he laughingly describes as his profession. He has been found guilty. He is out on bail. He will inevitably go to prison, as well he should. He's a simplistic fool and a pawn.
Do you share the same concern that Muhammad has for his draft status?
Oh, I certainly do. My views on the draft are very clear. I'm against it. And I think the sooner our country does away with the draft, the better it will be for everybody.